Swan Gang Racing channel. What's up, guys? We're back out here. We are working on the Corvette. Jesse is fighting for his life right now. What you got going on, Jess?
Trying to get the EGTs out of the header.
We got old race pack EGTs that were in the headers because we are swapping this thing over to Fuel Tech. Fuel Tech makes everything to work on your car, as in sensors, you know, connectors, harnesses, everything. Big shout out. I got to give a big shout out to Fuel Tech and Modern Racing for working with us, getting this stuff all set up to be able to go down inside this car. Here soon, we will be bringing to the channel the 484 nitrous Rare Morrison C7 Corvette Salty. So, with that being said, we had some more shipment stuff come in. I was able to talk a little bit about it in the last video. I was trying to use the holes that were already in the firewall. I've already got with Steven. I already told him probably in the future, it's probably going to be best that we go ahead and redo the firewall if you want it to look a little bit cleaner. For me, everybody knows I do like having race cars, but I like just having stuff to be able to race. I don't really care what they look like. I've never won a race off of being a beauty contest. I've won a race off of grit, sweat, and tears, a little bit of blood, and a whole lot of gambling. And that's where this car is gonna come in hand. And we're gonna be able to gamble on this car. There's some big heavy hitters in that 484 nitrous class, and we're just gonna see how we stack up against them. So we got the stuff in from Modern. Everything is all supportive now. We're doing good. We're steadily moving along. We're going to show you this whole entire process because this is a do-it-yourself kit. And this is something that Modern Racing, they're out of Mooresville, North Carolina, is pushing to be able to have other people do. For someone to wire your car, you can literally call up Modern Racing. You can go through, fill out the whole entire little packet they got, show them all the sensors that you're gonna have on your car, what you wanna run, pull a couple measurements just like I did, and they will build you the harnesses and ship it directly to your house where you can put it in yourself. The time is saved for, you know, when they're working on the cars. I'll just tell you from experience, they have 30 of my cars that's sitting in their shop that they have to get done. They have 30 customers that pay just like I do, and they want their stuff done ASAP. So I'm telling you right now, to be able to get the harnesses and get them here, I'm gonna be able to install this thing. I'll probably have a week into it. And the next one I do, I'll get even faster. Yes, I've seen some people commenting, talking about, oh, you're just laying wires in. But I do want it to look nice. I do want it to all work, and I am taking my time because this is the first time that we have done something like this, and I don't need nothing bad happening. So I am making calls, I am looking it through, but it's easily doable. And if I can do it, trust me, y'all can do it. We have now moved over. We're getting the exhaust put on. I got all the wires and everything ran out here. In the last video, you've seen us put the coils on. The reason why this doesn't have a connector on it, this is our O2 that will connect right in here into this header. The O2 gives us readings while going down the track. I wanted to be able to get it through the firewall. So once I got it through the firewall, then I'll connect put the connector on it because it's pretty big a connector. You can see all these wires that hooks up to it. We got stuff laid inside here. Everything is starting to come together. Once we get done, I'll go through, we'll clean up the car, make sure everything is good. We are over here putting the relays in right now. This thing has 4 nitrous systems on it, guys. That is 4. There's gonna be a lot of nitrous going down inside this engine. It's been a while since me, my dad, Big Country, and the Swan Gang crew has messed with the nitrous motor, but I can't wait. I'm ready to go out there, burn some shit up, whack some asses, and just have some fun. So I'm getting everything laid down in here. It's starting to come together. We have the Fuel Tech expansion module that's going right here. And then we're going to put the relays underneath it that will go right here on that panel. I'm just getting everything drilled out right now. I will pull that panel out of the car. Once I pull it out of the car, I will then get everything bolted in, and we'll put it in for one last fitment, make sure everything's good, and then I'm gonna permanently put everything in. And once we do all that, it's just gonna start going to the rear of the car. We got the training harness to run, we got the shifter harness to run, and then towards the rear of the car, the only thing we got back there is you got shock sensors, you got a drive shaft sensor, and you have your rear tail lights. So it's slowly but surely, it is starting to come together. And like I said, if I can do it, y'all can do it. All you gotta do is reach out to Modern Racing, call them up, tell them what you got, tell them what you're trying to build. They can literally build anything. So tell them what you want to do. They'll build it for you. They'll send it to your house and you can install it. And I promise you, you're going to save time and you're going to save a lot of money doing it yourself. We are going to start doing the stuff ourselves here in the shop, and Modern's behind us 100%. They want us to do that. They want us to be able to basically show you how easy it is to put this stuff in the car. And it is. I'm telling you right now, this is probably one of the easiest jobs, other than I'm a little bit heavy and having to lean over these bars. But other than that, everything's good. Like I said, this is my first one, so I'm a little green to it. By the next one, by the time I do my other cars, I will have all the right tools, I will have the parts, and I am giving them feedback too, because they send out a kit of all the stuff that you need to be able to install it in your cars. And I just had a few questions and asked them, suggestions, I guess you want to say, is if we could add this in your kit, it's only going to make it that much more user-friendly for the people that's putting it on. So we're going to go ahead and keep moving along. We'll see how long it takes Jesse to get that last one out. It's rusted in there.
Yeah. Not fun. I don't miss rust.
But we got new EGTs from Fuel Tech. We'll have to get those mounted on the firewall, and where everything's starting to go together. And I'm extremely excited to be able to get this done so we can get out testing and see whose ass we are going to jump on first. All right, guys, so finally, Jesse was able to get the EGTs off. Like I said, I recommended putting NICs on them. That'll help all that. All we gotta do is get it on there, get 2 on there. We're just gonna get a fitment for the new EGTs and where it's gotta go. Plus, like I said, we gotta wire this up for the O2. And then once that's done, these headers will come back off. You've seen the little time lapse. We were working inside here. I got the expansion module in. I got the relays on. The nitrous relays, they're down there underneath the car, but they'll go on this plate right here and they will plug in. Everything will kind of be right here, all congested with each other, but I will get it all wired up and looking clean towards the end of this clip. You can see the harness right here will go across this bar and start going to the rear. This is your transmission harness. It'll get to all our sensors, our lockup. It'll start going to the rear of the car where we'll get to our nitrous pressure sensors, and going out the rear where we were talking about the drive shaft sensor, the shock sensors, and the rear tail lights. But I'm starting to get, you know, like 70% of the stuff inside the car. And then once everything's all fitted, ready to go, then I'll go through, tighten up all the zip ties, go through and make sure everything's all nice and neat and clean. We'll clean the floors out. There's a few connectors that we got to change on the water pump. You know, the TPS sensor, just because it was a different setup. It was a Holley swapped over now to a Fuel Tech. But it's coming along good. I'm extremely happy with it. I'm excited with it, and I'm excited just to be able to bring y'all more stuff and doing more inside the shop. Yes, the shop is back a little bit of a mess, but we will get it all nice and cleaned up once we're all done, and get a little bit of break once we get a couple of these cars out of here. All right, guys, so we have been thrashing to get this car done with everything else that is going on inside the shop, but we officially have gotten everything in there. Shout out to a buddy of mine, Andrew Richards. I was able to give him a call, come over. He does a little bit of wiring on Fuel Tech stuff. I was just so busy. I was having to tear motors apart, trying to catch up with orders, trying to get these other cars running. I just told him, I said, hey man, can you give me a little hand, as in trying to get this thing all put together, which we finally did. This do-it-yourself kit went in flawlessly. We were able to go through, get everything all mounted up and done. Now, the only thing we gotta do is just turn the power on and make sure that we got power, and cross our fingers, hope nothing goes wrong. This is my first time doing this. Here in the shop, I'll go through a walk real quick and show y'all everything. We are gonna tie some of the stuff up. We got the FT Fuel Tech coils, you know, we got the nitrous all wired up. You know, our EGTs are going to be up under the headers. They are going to get mounted onto the firewall. We got all sensors, your crank, your cam sync, your water pump, your primer pump. You know, moving over here, you got your shock sensors, you got your line lock under the car. These are ground wires that are going to go to the heads. I'm going to get a bolt. I just got to put that in right there. It grounds the heads out to the harnesses. So once we put those in, we'll be good. As we come in here, this is, you know, more what Andrew does. He does carbon fiber work. He does wings for Mustangs. He does carbon fiber plates for FT600s, and he also does parachute mounts. So I had him, because he was over here helping me, I said, you know what? Let's try to get a little bit more weight out of the car. So let's put one of your carbon fiber deals inside here that holds the FT600 and the Nano Pros. So that's kind of what the dash looks like now, or that's what it's going to look like. I swapped out that MPI steering wheel. You remember what I was telling you about how we put we're going to have the deal welded on so there's not so much play? So shout out to Motion Raceworks for getting this deal. Look at that steering wheel now. There's no play in the steering wheel. I also had Andrew swap out the parachute handle. It's now got a carbon fiber one in there. This is also a little bit smaller of a wheel, so even somebody like me could get inside this car, because now the wheel won't be on top of your knees. I think it was a 13.5-inch wheel that came out of this car, where this is a 12-inch MPI wheel. I run them on all my other cars. I love the way they feel. And you know, there's no more play in the steering wheel. So the only thing we got to do now is basically just turn our power on, and once I hit this switch right here, everything should power up, and if we have no issues, then it should stay lit. This is gonna be the first time we do it. I'm gonna do it right with y'all. You know, I show y'all the good and the bad. So I'm gonna hit this power switch. There we go. This TPS is not calibrated. We know that. Like I said, this is all new stuff, so we do have to put it in English, which we will do that as well. We do have to run the lights in the car. We're actually going to run that here in a little while. And then we're waiting on a fuel map. Let's see, primer. Primer pump works. Hold up, everybody be quiet. Primer pump works. Water pump. Water pump works. The accessories and the lights, we haven't put those in yet. Those will be getting put in. Shout out to Justin and them. I gotta see where it's at right here. They sell this kit. It actually goes inside the car and you just plug and play. This whole entire kit is a plug and play harness setup, ready to go. We're gonna get a fuel map. And once we get the fuel map, we'll go through and we're gonna test everything out. We gotta test the injectors, test the coils, test the shifter, make sure everything's good. And then we'll test the drive shaft sensor in the rear, and then we'll check timing, make sure everything's degreed in how it's supposed to with the fuel tech, and then we're gonna fire it up. And then from there, we gotta go to the dyno. And yes, we are going to bring a video to you of the car on the dyno running, so we can make sure everything is good before we go to the racetrack. Another thing I wanted to make sure we got wired up, you had to connect. When you turn the power on, it should turn the lights on in the rear of the car. Jesse, can you do me a favor and turn that power on? Look at that. Guys, I am no wiring person. If I can do this, look, we even got side lights. If I can do this, you can do this. Look at that right there. I'm so stoked on this harness. We got the harness came with a transmission harness, a rear chassis harness, a center chassis harness, and a front chassis harness. And then it came with the engine harness. We were able to plug everything together. I am gonna change out this connector. That's why the shifter's not plugged in. I'm gonna change out the connector in here to be able to plug into the harness. So everything is adapted to what modern runs. The good thing about modern racing harnesses, guys, is if you have an issue, say your car catches on fire, say somebody cuts a wire, they pinch a wire, everything has a serial number on it. You call Modern Racing up, every one of their customers, they put a serial number for their setup. If I have an issue with anything on any of my cars, I just call up Modern, I give them the serial number, or if I don't have the serial number because they got burned up or something, I tell them what harness I'm looking for. They go in their computer, they build it, they send it directly to you, and you get to just stick it right back in your car. That's all the harnesses and everything that we run throughout all our cars. And I'm extremely happy to be able to have Modern Racing on board with this setup.